Alright, this is Matthew Lange on Woodbridge. Pretty good mess. He's wanting to get it cleaned up. So there you got a bunch of peonies, some oat grass coming in from the neighbors. There again, peonies, catmint, these chrysanthemums maybe. Otherwise, looks to be mostly weeds. There's a grass here. Looks like maybe some black-eyed Susans as well. And then everything else would come out. Okay. So, looks like, yeah, a lot of this oat grass. There is some different ground covers. We got the variegated vinca, the ajuga over there, so that would stay, but otherwise a lot of weeds. And then you got daylilies here. Those can stay. Just get the weeds out of them. Along here, certainly a lot of weeds and the ground cover. You got this vinca. I would plan on pulling that and letting the ivy stay there. I think kind of coneflower and a rose, so those would stay. And then otherwise, yeah, a couple more coneflowers or black-eyed Susans, another rose, heuchera. I think this little feathery thing there is a legit thing, so that would stay. Otherwise, it's a lot of weeds. I guess if I burn them here, definitely need trimming. Want to get it off the sidewalk and just kind of shape it up. There's a weed tree in there too. Yeah, this red bud. So this red bud would come out. I guess those, if I burn them also, they're not looking very good. So you've got the viburnum back there. I think I would leave that, trim it up, and then these two here and the red bud, get all those out. And then going through here, this portion of the ground cover is not too bad. Just some creeper and grapevine, more oak grass, weed trees. Okay, then we get down here, it starts getting a little more hectic. So before we go further, I'm gonna look at these trees. Of course, he's got a limb there. A little bit of limbing up on the elm, and then on this one, that'd really be a good candidate for getting cut down. If that's on his property, I'm not sure. But at the very least, we get all this ivy hanging down, cut back, and then get these sucker growth from the bottom. Actually, those are weeds. So get the weeds and sucker growth from the bottom. And then this tree would get a tree ring. Don't think it needs much else. I don't think put a tree ring on the elm. Okay, and then over here, so we got a bunch of red buds that are popped up, and then all this oat grass, and then there's a good bit of weeds in there past that too. Yeah, so I don't know where the property line is. I'm assuming just all of this. So you got some grapevine, a bunch of little red buds, the pokeweed. So a lot of weeds, honeysuckle to get dug out. I assume all the poison ivy and looks like a mix of poison ivy and Virginia creeper growing on the house, that would all come down. We could at least clean up the base of this tree, get the sucker growth out, pull some of the winter creeper off. Same with that tree there, get all the winter creeper off of there. I'll go ahead and head down here. And then I'm not sure about this and how far back he wants to go, but I assume weeding all the ground cover, and at least for this year, cutting back the grasses. Good bit of weeds in there also. Let's get a landscape mode. And there is a fence right here. So I'm gonna say that's our line going by here. And then this is this bed, again from landscape mode. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's thick with redbud and honeysuckle and poison ivy. So we got all that. So about up to this tree here, I think, is where the property line is. Yeah, so that honeysuckle red buds would come out of there. Lots of poison ivy. Wouldn't worry about anything down there. Just get the snake root out. Leave the vinca. Leave the yuccas. Maybe get this limb hanging down. Yeah, that's all honeysuckle, so this should just be ground cover through here as far as I'm seeing so far. And over here, here's the corner of the house. There's all of our ivy on the house. I guess leaving the vinca. Yeah. I don't know, I'd kind of want to cut that back. The vinca will come back immediately. So I'm going to include cutting this vinca down just to get it under control. We'll definitely get it off of the house, the winter creeper and the ivy. Probably don't need to do too much with the jack maple. Now it gets unclear here what's what. Yeah, so I think this area we just say we'll trim it back. Maybe even start using a mower here. But all this goldenrod will come out. I would assume they would leave the ivy on the fence. Well, probably need to get this Virginia creeper off. There's poison ivy. Definitely get all that off, but I would think maybe leaving the ivy running up the boards. If nothing else, cut them down to the bottom for the time being. So definitely want to cut this large ornamental grass back and get the weeds out of it. And we do have a little power box in there just to be aware of. Yeah, we cut out the dead ferns. Yeah, a lot of stuff in here. There is a little cypress and a little spruce. So get the weeds out of those and let them stay. So I'm not sure how far they want to go with this stuff because we're on the edge of the woods. So I'm going to say, let's cut out this branch here because it's all dead. There's a couple of them here. Cut all those out. And then the rest of this, just run the string trimmer over it up to these two big trees and to that where it bumps out past that big tree. Just string trim all of this up to the cypress and the spruce. Let's at least spray the weeds in there. That's probably it. On the wall here, I'm assuming they like the ivy there, so we will just get the weeds out. And then so we've got a lilac there, some ground cover, irises and lamb's ear. Got a rose. Otherwise, I think that's it. I would definitely want to pre-spray because we have a lot of thistle in here. I think this actually could use mulch. So there is some ground cover in here. We will leave the ground cover that's growing along the wall, but then anything growing past here we'll go ahead and pull out, and this will all be mulch in this bed. Again, we've got irises, lamb's ear, Shasta daisies, the rose, and the lilac down there. I think that's all it's supposed to be there. So everything else would come out. Okay. Here's the other side. Getting all the Virginia creeper off the wall. Got some weed trees in there. Yeah, there's a bunch of honeysuckle in there. I'm not sure about this. Get all these weeds under here. Definitely cutting the grasses back. And then, yeah, I think we'll just have to cut them back, and then after that go through and find any weeds. We're not going to be able to get all of them because we're going to cut them off as we're cutting the grass back, but for a start that would be where to go. And then I can't tell. So this whole bed will need edged, and then I do think we would put mulch in here. So we edge around here. There is no edge as of now. And come back kind of where this drain tile is. That would be our line. Oh, let's get all the vegetation out from behind the deck. All this vegetation growing on the house, get that off. That's the side. Then I don't know how far they want to go over here, but we definitely get all these branches piled up here. And then as for the rest of it, after we get the debris out, I think just running over all of this with a string trimmer. Probably just up to this big honeysuckle here. So the rest of this, string trim it down, pull out the bigger honeysuckle here, and then just string trim it down up to the existing shrubs. And that is probably about it. See anything on this corner bed. So it looks like just weeds and the vinca. There might be a pile of bricks there also. Okay, so here's all that. And we'll get one final look as we walk out.